Hi everybody, so I'm back today with level 1 speaking and listening skills for life. Asking those questions, that's when you're expected to ask the questions. So if you want good answers, you have to ask good questions. I'm going to look just at the section where the examiner's going to tell you about something that happened to them in the past. What do you have to do at level 1 skills for life? You have to ask questions to get more information and to affirm, to check that the examiner is telling you yes or no to something you want to know about. And you've also got to comment. This video is going to be about the type of questions you need to ask. You need to ask questions that help make the information clear to you. Remember, your examiner is marking you on how you listen and how you ask those questions. You need to ask questions to develop what's being said. If I'm the examiner, I tell you something, ask me a question to develop that, to give you more information. So, have you thought about asking me how I felt about what happened in the past? That would be a good question. And when you're commenting, say what you think about that and add how you think that might have been for me. We'll come to comments later. For this video, we're going to concentrate on those questions. So use the why question. Why did you do that? Why do you think that's a good idea? Why was that important? Use the questions that begin with do or did. Do you always do that? Did you want to do that? Because remember, these are called open questions. You need to know the difference between open and closed questions. So your open questions will use how. How did that happen? Or when? When did you start to worry? When did that make a difference? When did you notice? When did you realise? All really good starting phrases for your questions. Remember that questions that use the words would, should, is, are, and do you think might make the examiner just say yes or no. You don't want the examiner to do that because that's called a closed question. You might ask a closed question, yes, put one or two of those in, but you don't want all your questions to be closed questions. If you ask, would you? The answer might be yes or no. Should you? Yes or no. Is this the yes or no? Are you looking? Yes or no? Do you think that might lead to a yes or no answer? And when you are asking questions for your exam, you are asking them knowing what type of answer you want to get. If you want a yes or no answer, use these question starters. Excellent. If you don't want a yes or no answer, use an open question. But remember, don't interrupt. We're talking about questions for your exam. And your examiner wants you to comment or ask questions. So, there should be pauses in the information the examiner tells you. Use those pauses. That's your turn to ask your question. Don't talk over the examiner. And remember, asking great questions takes practice. If you want good answers, they come from asking good questions. Ask a lot of questions that unlocks learning. In this part of the exam, you're learning about something that the examiner did in the past. So think about your talk with the examiner as a way of learning as much as you can about the event he or she is talking about. Yes, you can ask a yes or no question. Remember, we're working at level 1, so maybe follow that yes or no question up. So follow up, add another question to extract the information, to get that information from the examiner. And know the difference between open-ended and closed questions. Open-ended questions, remember, start with why, how, what if. Open-ended questions are meaningful. You mean to get some information from the examiner. You don't just want the answer yes or no. So, do you want to know a fact? Do you want to know what the examiner thinks? Do you want to know something about how the examiner might have done things differently? If you want to know that information, use open-ended questions. Here are some examples. What made you decide to do that? What would you do differently next time? What can you tell me about? Why did he or she or they do that? What if the boards had not been there? So you're asking about what's happened, taking something away and asking, well, what about if that happened? And how did that help? How did you know that? Why do you think so? Remember, you just need to practice thinking about closed questions, which just need a yes or no answer, and open questions, thinking about why are you asking it? Is it to get information from the person? Is it to find out what they think? And practice answering questions, because in your level 1 exam there's no list of questions that's going to be asked. You could be asked anything, so when it's your turn you can ask anything of the examiner. Just make sure that you're actively listening to what the examiner is telling you about, and have ready some of those types of questions so that you can show the examiner that you understand how to take part in a conversation where somebody is telling you something and you're extracting further information from them. Always ask the type of questions you think somebody else would enjoy answering, and enjoy this practice. Bye now.